Hello again, Roy.RealEstate here with Coldwell Banker Legacy in San Angelo. Today I want to talk to you a little bit more about the FHA and VA loans and the inspections that go along with the appraisals on them, kind of give you some pointers whether you're a buyer or seller in ways you can kind of help yourself and understand the process going in, so you're aware of some of the potential pitfalls that can come into the process. So the advantage of the FHA and VA loans is they're basically government guaranteed loans, and they lower the down payment requirements as low as 3.5% for an FHA and as low as 0 or really sort of below 0 for a VA loan. So because of the very low down payment, then you have some additional things that come with them, some requirements. Basically the FHA and the VA are trying to help protect the buyer against some potential issues, and so when they come out and do their appraisal, they will also do an inspection, and there are certain specific things they'll look for in the inspection and requirements that they will have before they'll make the loan that the seller will have to fix these items. Now, first of all, I always recommend that you go ahead and get an inspection if you're the buyer, whether it's VA, FHA, or conventional. The inspector will go a more in-depth inspection, give you some other pointers, and help you, warn you about some potential issues with the house in advance, and you can negotiate those during the option period. But what comes through in the VA or FHA appraisal and inspection, those are going to be lender required repairs. And so the seller at that point has two choices. They can either complete the repairs and continue with the transaction, or not complete the repairs, and then the lender won't loan the money, and so the sale will fall through. So some of the things that they typically look for, peeling paint on exteriors, anything exterior damage, safety issues, if there's cracks in the siding, peeling paint, limbs that are touching against the roof of the house or too close to the roof of the house. Another thing they look for is big is in bedrooms is second means of egress. There's got to be a second way out of a bedroom. There's a door that goes into a hallway or common area or whatever, but you also have to have a window or some other second way to get out. And if those, a lot of the older houses had the wooden windows, and they were painted shut before I was born, they're still painted shut. And so some of those won't qualify for FHA or VA because there's no second means of egress from there. So if you're a seller, that's something to consider. Do I want to accept a FHA or VA as we go into the process? And think those things through ahead of time if it's a house with some of those things. A lot of the things, the peeling paint, the limbs touching the roof, stuff like that, those are issues you probably should look at getting fixed anyway. They're not issues you want to leave undealt with on a long-term basis. So they are important things. Frequently, if there's a septic system, the VA and FHA will have to have an inspection done on that septic system, which is additional money. If there's a water well, sometimes they'll require that, and there's a lot of issues where if some sort of community water of some source is available, that they'll require you to get on the community water instead of the well water. So whether that's an advantage or a disadvantage, it's a requirement that frequently comes with them. So it's another thing to be aware of in all these situations. So basically, as they come out and do the appraisal, they're going to do this inspection as well, and they're going to point out these things that become lender required repairs. So again, if you're the seller, you want to know in advance. If you have some of these things, it's best to have them fixed in advance. And B, as you're going to put your house on the market, if you're a seller and there's some of these things are there, you may not even say we don't want to accept VA or FHA. Which brings up one of the negatives for the buyer. In a very competitive market like we've had in San Angelo recently, an FHA or a VA, particularly if it's a little bit older house and not really up to modern conventional standards, then it actually hurts you, because you go and make an offer with an FHA, and if there are multiple offers, they have another offer that's a conventional that's not going to have this inspection. It can put you at a negative and make that other offer seem better, even though you may be paying the same or even more money. But if there's more requirements on the seller, more obstacles to get to the closing, then they may be willing to consider that conventional as a stronger offer. And so that's just something to be aware of. The whole thought process with both of them is that the VA and FHA are attempting to protect the buyer from issues that they should know about, that an expert would know about. But again, whether they're effective or not is a question, because if you have the inspection and you also have an agent representing you, you should have been warned about these things and be able to make your own decision. But he who has the gold makes the rules. So because they're backing these loans, guaranteeing the loans, then they have the right to have these additional requirements in there and do so. So Anyway, lots more we could talk about with it, but the key is for you to understand, both as a buyer or a seller, the positives and the negatives of an FHA and VA loan and how they affect the whole process from contract to closing. So any more questions, give me a call. Roy.RealEstate, 325-268-0775. Thank you.